Aquaman, film, production. Development. In 2004, film Jerk.com reported that Sunrise Entertainment's Alan and Peter Reich plan to bring Aquaman to the big screen for Warner Brothers, with Robert Ben-Garant writing the screenplay. However, the film fell through. In July 2009, it was reported that Aquaman was in development at Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way, and Warner chairman and CEO Barry Meyer said that the Aquaman film was in development. After Man of Steel's release in 2013, a source from Warner Brothers told The Wrap that they were discussing future films, with a mention of more Man of Steel movies as well as a Superman/Batman film, a Wonder Woman film, and an Aquaman film. Jeff Johns told Variety that Aquaman is a priority character for the company. It was announced on August 12, 2014, that Warner Brothers had hired screenwriters Will Beall and Kurt Johnstad to pen two separate scripts for an Aquaman film. The film was being developed on dual tracks, meaning that one script was being by Beall and one by Johnstad, but only the better version would move forward. On April 10, 2015, The Hollywood Reporter reported that James Wan was the frontrunner to direct the film. In June 2015, Wan was confirmed to direct, and overlooked the screenplay by Johnstad. On November 12, 2015, David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick was hired to write the script, however it was unclear whether he would be writing a separate script or working with Wan. It was then revealed that previous script plans had been scrapped and that both Wan and Johns planned to move forward with a new script written by screenwriter Will Beall. Later, Johnson McGoldrick was brought back to the project to work on a rewrite of Beall's script. On March 2016, it was announced that the events of Aquaman will be set after Justice League. Wan confirmed later on Twitter that cinematographer Don Burgess, who had previously worked with Wan on The Conjuring 2, would serve as cinematographer for Aquaman. Pre-production began in Australia in late November 2016. Casting. In October 2014, Warner Brothers announced Aquaman as a part of the DC Extended Universe, with Jason Momoa starring. On October 20, 2014, in an interview with Comic.com, Momoa revealed that he was preparing for a Justice League film, and that he did not know if a solo Aquaman film would come before or after Justice League. He thought it might be an origin story of where Aquaman came from. In December 2014, it was revealed that Momoa had signed a 4-picture deal with the studio in DC, and he wanted Zack Snyder to direct the solo Aquaman film. On January 13, 2016, The Hollywood Reporter announced that Amber Heard had entered negotiations to play the female lead role of Mera, Aquaman's love interest. Her casting was confirmed 2 months later. In April 2016, Willem Dafoe was cast in an undisclosed role, later revealed to be Nuidus Vulko. On December 12, 2016 it was confirmed that Patrick Wilson would play the villain as Ocean Master, the half-brother of Aquaman. On January 31, 2017, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II was added to the cast as Black Manta, Aquaman's arch-enemy in the comics. That same day, press reports noted that Nicole Kidman had entered talks to play Queen Atilana. 2 months later, Kidman confirmed her participation in the film. By February 2017, New Zealand actor Temuera Morrison had entered talks to play Thomas Curry, Aquaman's human father. On April 12, Dolph Lundgren was cast to play Nereus, King of Zebul. Ludi Lin was cast in the film on May 15, 2017. Almost 2 weeks later, Michael Beach, who voiced Devil Ray, a character loosely based on Black Manta in Justice League Unlimited, was cast as Black Manta's father. In October 2017, Graham McTavish revealed that he has a role in the film. In April 2018, Randall Park was cast as Dr. Stephen Shin, and in July, Jimon Hunsu, Natalia Safran and Sophia Forrest were cast as the Fisherman King, Fisherman Queen and the Fisherman Princess, respectively. In November 2018, it was revealed that Julie Andrews has a voice role in the film. Filming. Principal photography began in Australia on May 2, 2017, under the working title Ahab. A majority of the film was shot at Village Roadshow Studios in Gold Coast, Queensland, with production also held in Newfoundland, Canada, as well as in Sicily and Morocco. Between May and August 2017, production also took place on location around a number of places on the Australian Gold Coast, including Main Beach, Coomera, Southport and Amity Point in North Stradbroke Island, Queensland, as well as Hastings Point in New South Wales. On filming underwater sequences, Wan stated that the underwater world is super complicated and it's not an easy shoot. Filming began on the Arthur Curry Lighthouse set at Hastings Point on August 11, 2017, and ended later that month. In September, during an interview with Kiss Radio, actor Ludi Lin described Wan's vision for the film as Star Wars underwater. That same month, filming took place in Newfoundland and Labrador. Willem Dafoe finished up his part by late September. On October 13, James Wan announced that Patrick Wilson wrapped on the film. Filming on location took place in the deserts of Morocco by mid-October, which included the cities of Merzouga and Erfoud. Principal photography wrapped on October 21, 2017. Post-production. James Wan's five-time collaborator Kirk Morey served as the editor for Aquaman. Two-time Academy Award winner Charles Gibson, Babe and Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and Kelvin McIlwain, the Fast and the Furious franchise, served as overall visual effects supervisors. Visual effects. Altogether there are 2,300 visual effects shots in the movie completed by Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, Rodeo FX, Scanline VFX, DNEG, Moving Picture Company, MPC, Method Studios, and Digital Domain. On November 3, 2018, Wan announced that post-production on the film was complete. ILM was the lead VFX vendor and worked on creating Atlantis and all its CG animals, the Karaten and the final battle of the film. Jeff White served as the VFX supervisor for ILM on Aquaman. For the underwater sequences, the actors were shot dry for wet on special tuning fork rigs designed by the FX team, and later the bodies of the actors were replaced with digital boobles in post-production. For creating Atlantis, the team relied on the designs provided by the art department. ILM's environment team created over 200 buildings, including the signature jellyfish buildings, and laid over 7,000 buildings in districts covering almost 600 square miles for the action to travel through. The underwater ships were modeled off organic creatures and designed to move that way. For the entrance to Atlantis sequence, the team built over 150,000 ships to fill the traffic lanes leading into Atlantis. All the animals, including the Karaten, were built by ILM and animated using keyframe animation. Approximately 700 shots in the film required high-detail hair simulations. ILM had to significantly improve their hair simulation software due to the unique aspects of hair flowing underwater. Normally, hair simulations use guide strands to define or influence the movement of groups of hair strands. This did not provide a satisfying look for underwater simulation, so ultimately ILM simulated strands individually, which resulted in heavy computations. Additionally, Wan wanted to be able to direct the hair when the physically accurate simulation resulted in undesirable results. ILM delivered 670 shots for the film DNEG. Additionally, DNEG worked on digitally de-aging Willem Dafoe for the scene where his character Nudris Vulko trains the young Arthur Curry. Digital Domain. Jay Barton served as the VFX supervisor for Digital Domain. They worked on creating the Dead King's Island environment. For the sequence, the actors were shot in a pool of water against blue screen backgrounds, with Digital Domain adding CG extensions, waterfalls, mountains and dinosaurs in post-production. Most of the waterfalls that appear in the scene were created using Houdini, while some were created using practical elements of things such as pouring salt and glass beads. They also built an extensive library of shot FX elements. The dinosaurs were animated using keyframe animation. Digital Domain delivered 19 to 20 shots for the movie. Method Studios. David Nelson and Craig Wentworth served as VFX supervisors for Method Studios. Method handled the Sicily fight sequence between Arthur, Mera and Black Manta, Arthur's encounter with the Karaten in the Well of the Souls, and his acquisition of Atlan's Trident. For the Sicily fight sequence, the team built the main square of the Italian village and terracotta tiled roof set pieces that were backed with blue screen. A completely CG village was also created based on scans and documentation of the real village. For the Well of the Souls sequence, Momoa was filmed dry for wet and captured on set in rigs that simulated underwater movements, but they ultimately felt restrictive, so artists replaced the majority of his performance with a digital body double and added the CG environment, Karaten and Arthur's free-flowing locks. A specially designed 700 FPS shot was used in the scene where the camera travels through Arthur's eyes. Rodeo FX. Rodeo FX worked on 2 key sequences for the film, with Sebastián Moro leading as VFX supervisor for the film. For the aquarium that young Arthur Curry visits near the beginning of the film, Rodeo FX used a large volume of simulations as well as algorithms for the fish behavior. They created hard and soft corals by developing a colonization growth system, along with procedural stem and tentacle generation tools. They also created the environments for the Atlantis ruins below the desert. Artists used a Lego-type approach to layer the environment with a large amount of sand, dust and rocks, all of which would realistically give way to the characters' interactions. From there, they sculpted ruined buildings, bridges, towers, statues and temples, which textured and shaded to add depth to the ruined city. Scanline VFX Scanline VFX delivered 450 shots for the movie. Brian Hirota served as VFX supervisor for Scanline. The main sequences produced by them are the lighthouse and its surround environment, the Aquaman title card that follows the Boston Aquarium, Aquaman pushing the submarine to the surface and rescuing the sailors inside, Orm's tidal wave that sweeps away Arthur and Tom including the rescue and aftermath, Black Manta being paid by Orm for the submarine's delivery and Arthur and Mara's visit to the Kingdom of the Trench. For the creation of the film's title card the team relied on Rodeo's work on the aquarium sequence and simulated up to 60,000 fish. The tidal wave sequence was realized with a large-scale simulated wave, which was integrated with a combination of day-for-night footage, blue screen shots for the actors and truck interiors, a truck on a rotisserie rig, an interior cabin in a water tank, and VFX simulations for debris. For creating the lighthouse, a full-size house with the base of the lighthouse tower constructed by the FX team. Additional house and dock sets were built on sound stages. A digital build-out was done to complete the lighthouse tower and extend the dock fully out to sea. For the sequence where the camera pushes into a toy snow globe with a tiny lighthouse inside, a CG transition was created from the lighthouse's living room set to a fully CG winter coastline. For creating the trench creatures, motion capture was done on set by stunt performers.